Hey friends, if you have ever worked with AI or you have ever focused on developing AI agents, then this is a video series which you cannot afford to miss. I'm really serious about this. Why? Because the topic which we are going to cover in this video series is Agentic AI Design Patterns. Now, we are going to start from scratch. So I'm assuming that you already know how to develop applications and AI solutions or maybe AI agents also. And then if you already know that thing, what kind of things you need to keep in mind while designing a proper solution about your AI agents and integration of your AI agents with your existing generative AI application, these things we are going to focus in this. But before we talk about agentic AI design patterns, let's start with design patterns. So the question is, what are design patterns? Well, the answer is not very simple. Actually, design patterns, definition-wise, has so many meanings. But in my case, if someone asks me what are design patterns, I always say that design patterns are actually solutions of some common problems. Now, not in the real life, but in the programming language. Now, basically, if I compare this thing with the real life scenario, I want you to understand one thing. Let's say right now, if I tell you that I have a headache, what should I do? If this is a question, obviously you're going to answer that maybe Maruti, you should take some medicine, or maybe you should drink enough water, or maybe some of you may be going to tell me a specific medicine name also. Maybe I can take a Disprin, or maybe paracetamol, or maybe something else. I'm not a person who has studied medicine, so I don't know much about that. But the point is, headache is a very common problem. When I ask you what should I do if I have a headache, then maybe you're going to give me a proper suggestion because this is a very common problem. Same like real life, when we have a common problem, we know the solution of that. Same like that, design patterns are basically going to help you in those common problems which happens in your development. So basically, when you're developing normal applications or multi-tier application, cloud specific applications, or maybe you're developing AI agents with your generative AI apps, in all of these cases, design patterns are always going to help you in solving some common problems which happens. Now, throughout the years, design patterns is actually one of the topic which everyone has used, as well as they are also going to use after a couple of decades. I mean, in my case, guys, I'm in this industry from last almost 18 years now. Trust me, I have teach design patterns to corporate people before even 1 or 2 decades, and even I'm going to teach this thing after 1 or 2 decades. Yes, this is one of that concept which is evergreen. It's always going to be there. Yeah, design patterns are always going to get changed, and there are new implementations which are going to be coming up into that. Same like medicines, everyone is going to have a headache today, tomorrow, after a few years. Of course they are going to have headache. Maybe the medicine name is going to get changed, maybe the content of that medicine is going to get changed. Same like that in design patterns also, design patterns will always be there, but a new design patterns are going to improvise compared to the older one. If I go little depth in this, before a few years, I think when I started my career, almost before 18, 20 years, at that time, there was some kind of a design patterns which were known as Gang of Four design pattern. Now, it's a fancy name, but actually, the name is actually having a resonation with one particular team. Actually, there were four guys, and those four guys have found out that there are so many common problems which are there in our day-to-day programming of application. And that is the reason these four guys have created something around 20 plus design patterns which were there. And all those design patterns are actually known as Gang of Four design patterns because it was created by the team of those four people. Now, these design patterns were actually focusing on how you can improvise your application architecture and how you can develop your application and solutions in a better way. So basically, that was the focus of this design patterns. Even today, I think most of the applications which are getting developed are actually using this kind of gang of four design patterns in that. Most developers do not know that they're using some of the design patterns, but they're still using it. If you have ever heard about the names like Singleton, Abstract Factory, Facade, these are those design patterns which were part of Gang of Four design pattern. But as I said, these were decades old design patterns, which are still useful, but it's an older one. Then the question is, which are the better one? Well, we have something which came up just before 10 years maybe. That is something which is known as cloud design pattern. As the name suggests, cloud design patterns are actually focusing on moving your applications to the cloud. Now, when you are moving your applications to the cloud, those application has to be cloud optimized. In the simple word, it should be using all the features and advantages of cloud. And that's the reason there were another 40 plus design patterns which were created, and those design patterns were focusing on cloud optimization. So if you have heard about patterns like sidecar, ambassador, or maybe you have heard about something like a gateway aggregator, these are the patterns which are basically helping you in moving your applications and solutions to the cloud and making them cloud optimized. But we are not going to talk about this also. Now, if you're interested in cloud design pattern, a specific course or a video on that, we can create that thing and I can share it with you. That's not a problem. But as of now, in this video series, I'm not focusing on Gang of Four or cloud design patterns because these are older ones. The newest member in this particular design pattern scenario is actually Agentic AI Design Patterns. These design patterns are actually helping you to integrate your application and solutions with agentic AI systems. Basically, think about this. You have already developed your application. You have maybe hosted this thing on cloud or maybe on-premise. And when you are doing this thing, now it's a requirement which you got that you have to make this application AI enabled. And if you want to do that, you have to follow certain guidelines. You have to make sure that whatever you're going to do, you have to do that thing in the right manner. Now, when you do this thing, again, remember, design patterns are always a solution of a common problem. So when you're going to create an agent, when you're going to integrate those agents with your application, there are some common problems which can happen. And that's the reason agentic AI system, or I can say the application or solution which you're going to integrate with one or more agents needs to follow agentic design patterns. And that's why we are going to learn some of the design patterns here. I am going to explain the concept of the design patterns of agents, and then I'm also going to show you some of the samples or step-by-step lab applications with that so that you can understand this thing in a better way. Okay. Throughout this particular course, guys, anytime if you have any questions, wherever you are watching this video, you can just reach out to me using my email ID, or you can just comment down in this particular video, or you can connect with us on our WhatsApp channel. So these are the possible options. You can go to our website, which is skilltech.club, and there is a chat option available there. You can connect with me on that. Or if you are a member of our website, well, pleasure will be mine to connect with you and to discuss with you on this kind of requirements. I'm looking forward to that. And now, without wasting time, let's get started. So, what are agentic design patterns? Well, as it is mentioned here, at their core, agentic design patterns are architectural and behavior templates that guide the development of AI systems where agents, which are basically nothing but autonomous or semi-autonomous entities, are going to collaborate with tools, environments, and sometimes with each other also. Now, think about this application where you want to integrate agents. These agents are going to associated with some other tools like knowledge tools and action tools, which we have discussed in our lab videos. And by the way, guys, if you don't know how to use your AI agent or how to develop your AI agent, I strongly request you to check out the videos of AI agent tutorials where we are actually developing agents with step-by-step process. But yes, when you're doing that thing, these are actually the one which are going to help you to organize those things better. So these patterns are basically going to encapsulate your common workflows and interactions, as well as is going to enable scalability, modularity, and adaptability. Now, these three components are very important for any enterprise-grade agent development, and that's what design patterns are actually helping you to do. Now, when you're thinking of an agent, I want you to keep one thing in mind that now do not think about a standalone agent, which is just doing one single thing. Think about that your AI agent is going to be a part of a well-coordinated team. So it's not going to be a one single agent, it's going to be a team of multi-agent kind of a scenario, which is going to be there. It's going to be equipped with tools and processes to tackle complex problems. So we need to see that how we can integrate tools with them. And whether it's a single agent reasoning about the task or a fleet of agents handling intricate workflows, agentic design patterns are going to provide the blueprint for that. So basically, you call it blueprint, you call it template, or in my words, you can call it solution of the common problem. Each design pattern is going to improvise your development and your architectural solution of your agentic AI systems. And that's what the goal is. Now, if you ask me, why does this matter? Can't we just develop a normal application code and develop AI agents with that? Well, no. Agentic AI design patterns are going to push AI beyond simple automation. It's going to make it more strategic, adaptive, and capable of reasoning also. So these are those things which are actually an evolution of agents which happen. And because of that, we need these things. These are essentials for enterprise AI, autonomous assistance, and even for the intelligent workflows. No matter what you're developing, if you are associating with AI and agents, you have to make sure that you are following one or other design patterns. It's going to help you in these four main points, which I want you to remember. First, it's going to streamline your architecture. So these patterns are going to simplify the complexity of managing multiple agents, tools, and workflows by offering reusable templates. It's going to support multi-agent collaboration. It's going to enable agents to share the context. Context is very important thing for agent. It can share the context with other agents. You can divide the task so that one part will be done by one agent and the remaining parts will be done by the following agents in that. And it can also collaborate effectively, reducing the redundancies and maximizing the outcomes, all the advantages. It's going to make your system scalable. So by modularizing your workflow, these patterns are going to allow systems to scale seamlessly with growing demands and additional functionalities. This reminds me something about microservice kind of an architecture. Now, when you think about that kind of a scenario, you need each agent should be working on a some specific task. And then we should be able to reuse, we should be able to scale it as per the requirement. And those things should be loosely coupled as well as it should be independently deployable. Now, all those features and components are also going to be important in this one. Last one and the most important one, which is adaptability. Because of all these advantages, Agentic Design Patterns offers flexibility to evolve workflows dynamically, and it's going to help you to adapt the new tools, data, or goals without overhauling the system. Because we know agentic AI systems or any agent which we are developing right now, it's continuously going to go through that evolution for next few years. And if that is happening, we do not want to take a pain of changing everything again and again and again. That's where agentic design patterns are going to help you a lot. And that's why you need to learn and understand that. I hope you got this point. And now onwards, we are going to start different design patterns one by one. We'll understand them. And with that, I'm also going to show you some of the links as well as some step-by-step labs so that you can develop this kind of agents for you or for your organization. So thank you so much for this video. I'll see you in next.